Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Scott the Medium. I am hanging out for a little bit this afternoon before it's time to go pick up my son. And I thought we could hang out in the middle of the day, see who's around, and have a good chat. So I thought maybe you'd want to join in and ask me about spirits and or ghosts. So I'm here hanging out in my basement, seeing who's around. I was just, hey, what's up? What's up, Medium Soul Searcher? I like your name. That's cool. So basically, in the last couple days, I've been making a lot of content, been getting a lot of really good reactions from people, getting a lot of people talking and answering back, and I thought that was really cool. So I'm trying to be more involved with everybody as far as like, I want people to know me a little better. I have some projects in the works that are coming up in the future, and I just thought it'd be nice to have somebody hang out with while we're doing this and ask me questions about mediumship or psychic abilities. If you want to talk to me about ghosts or spirits or ask me questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Everything, of course, is just my opinion. Nothing is fact, and I'm just giving you anything based on, basically my life experience, which I guess is probably what we all do. So I see we have a few people here. I was saying yesterday I did a live, and my buddy Sam came on with me for a little bit, and I was saying that TikTok changed something because up here, when you started a live, you'd be able to see how many people were available to come live with you, and now it doesn't show you that. So I thought that was a little bit interesting that they took away. So, I have 123,000 followers or so, I think. And it would say like 15,000 people follow you and they're on right now. And it would tell you that, but it doesn't do that anymore. So it's hard to gauge when to come on, but I'm just going to come on when I'm free anyway. Yeah, for entertainment purposes only, right? Because it's all just experience and just trying to figure our own way out through. So Medium Soul Searcher says, I'm newly on my journey, will be 2 years this spring. Well, welcome. I hope that it has been pleasant for you. Sometimes it can be a little bit rough going, but most of the time I think as long as you're doing it with love and good intentions, this is a pretty easy journey to go on, and it's nice. Cher says, sending love from the Jersey Shore. Hi, I'm also near the Jersey Shore. I'm in the Middletown area, just near Sandy Hook, New Jersey. Yeah, it's an interesting gift. Sometimes it can be a little rough because you don't know what to do with it, especially when you're first starting off. Um, I tell the story pretty often. I have a video series here about how I got started. I've been sensitive to this since I was little and kind of freak people out. And then as I got older, I kind of tucked it away. I didn't deal with it. And then in my early 30s, it sort of just came back to life in me. And it came back at a time when I really needed something like that in my life. So it was nice. Let's see. My friend, I always dream of all my dead families, but not my mom. Maybe mom isn't ready to come visit you. I also, and I'll just give you my own personal kind of thing on this one. So I tell people I'm adopted, and I am. My biological mom, passed away when I was about 4, and she's only visited me twice in my entire life, and they were super pertinent times when she came to visit me. So it's not bad that they're not visiting you. It's okay. Maybe mom is waiting for the right moment when it's time to come see you. So don't be upset if she's not coming, but the rest of the family is. It's not a good or bad thing. It just may not be. Hi there from Texas. Started about 20 years. Wow. Bless you. That's great. 20 years. Yeah, there's a lot of healing. That's one of the reasons I love doing this. It brings a lot of health and healing to people when they need it the most. And as long as it's being done with good intentions, then it's going to bring those healing factors to it. And that's really important. That's one of the reasons why I do it. Um, oh, thank you so much. The video about taking loved one off life support really meant a lot to me today. You're very welcome from just, I don't want to like, oh, you're welcome. No, like, it felt like a good time to talk about that. So there's many people throughout my time doing this, where I've talked to somebody on the other side and they say, hey, could you let my family know that they made the right decision for taking me off life support, because I had already exited my body and my spirit was separate and it wasn't going to go back. The machines were keeping a body alive that was not going to be viable for my soul anymore. So they were able to cross over when the life support was removed. And they always, always say thank you for doing that. So it's really important that anybody who's ever done that, know that your loved one is okay with that. And they're probably happy that you did it, because once that soul is separated, it doesn't go back. It's not like the movies. There are instances where we talked about this yesterday, also like near-death experiencers. But it seems like that tether isn't really broken at that point for those people. But the life support, where they're on it for a couple days or weeks or months or years even, that soul is just separated. And it breaks my heart when I don't know how to, I've never been in a position to have to do that. But knowing what I know, I'd have an easier time doing it. I'd still grieve and be sad that I had to make that decision for somebody. But on the other hand, I know that their soul is okay. And that's the most important thing, because our soul is really, our soul is eternal. It goes on. So it's important for it to be okay. So, you're welcome. Limitless says, I just learned of my mediumship abilities. Any advice? Yeah, 100%. So, if you are going to do mediumship and really do it, you have to, like anything, really research it, understand it, and meditate. And when I talk about meditation, it is always the same. It doesn't mean you have to sit cross-legged on the beach at sunset or sunrise and do yoga and hum to yourself and all that kind of stuff. That's very new agey. Meditation is anything that helps you become more mindful of what's going on inside your own head. That is important because you need to be able to compartmentalize your own feelings from the feelings that come in from other places. So meditate, read books about it. And as a matter of fact, if you like, I have a course coming up on Tuesday. There's a link in my bio. It's a 2-hour class, and we talk about the basics of mediumship. And it'll be just like this. It's done via Zoom, except for you can just ask me questions. And it's only $40. I like to keep my classes very inexpensive, because I want to teach as many people as I possibly can. So thank you for the great question. Oh, Loop says, do you see any other beings besides humans? Every once in a while. I think it's what you train yourself to see. So one of my favorite mediums that we see on television is Amy Allen. And of course, she has talked about seeing extraterrestrials, PKE manifestations, strange goblin-like spirits, and all kinds of other things from different realms. So yes, if I'm on a paranormal investigation, I do open myself up for those sorts of things in order to help the family, but it's not something I seek out or do on purpose day to day. It's just, it's too overwhelming and taxing and time consuming to do those things unless I'm going to a home to help somebody. And by the way, paranormal investigations into homes for me are always free, and my team. We do it for nothing because I think that is super important, that we all get to live in peace and happiness. So doing it for free always helps those people. Yep, I'm in New Jersey. Hi, new here. I'm sorry about your son passing. I can't, it's so tough when we talk about kids passing, no matter how old they were. A lot of times there's a grief wall that comes up in us, and the grief wall is very blocking. If you want to invite somebody like your son or another loved one to come visit you, take out a pen and paper and write them an invitation. Put it in paper, put it in writing, write it down, and invite that person to come see you. Say, dear son, I would like to see you. Please visit me in my dream. And write it down. And what that does is it sets the universe in motion. You've set an intention, and you're letting them know that it's okay, from your heart, sincerely, that it's okay for them to come see you. It's one of the things that I like to talk about with my clients all the time. I'm happy that I can be a medium and do these things, but I'm also happy to give you the tools to do them as best you can as well, because connecting with your loved ones every single day is very important. There's loved ones that I talk to all the time who've passed. There's ones who passed too soon, and I talk to them often, and they talk to me or they send me signs, and I'm always open to hearing from them. And I want to give everybody else that ability as well. So writing letters is extremely effective for inviting come see us. So I think that that's thing to do. Valley says, I've been beating myself up wanting insurance. My dad, who passed away Tuesday or 2 days ago, is okay. I'm sure that he's okay. It takes a little bit of time for our soul to make the journey. When people ask me how long it takes, I'd say in the first week, they can make a visitation to us. And then it takes about 3 months after their passing. I don't know what happens in 3 months between the soul leaving its body and going to the next place. But in my time doing this, 3 months seems to be about the time where they can come back and make a meaningful and solid connection with us. So I don't want to say never, I've very, very, very seldom met a spirit that was stuck or trapped. They're okay. They made it to the other side. They're going on their journey, and they'll be in touch with you very shortly, for sure. Okay? He's okay, and I'm very sorry about your loss. Chris says, I see infrequent brief sightings of my husband here at the house and in the yard. What does that mean? It means that your husband is showing himself to you, probably in times that you need to see him. And I bet you when you see him that it's one of those, like, you weren't really thinking about it and you catch him out of the corner of your eye and you're like, oh, there he is. And it makes you think about him. And those are the best times for them to get our attention, because usually we're doing something else, watching television, doing chores, mindless activities that our brain, the voice is quiet in there. So the spirit voice can be loud and talk. So that's why meditation is also important, because when you learn to be quiet, the other stuff can kick up and you can hear and see those things a little bit better. So that's a really great thing to do. Hey, if you're liking this, just do me a favor. If you guys can just hit the like button or whatever's on your side to show a little love, I totally appreciate it. I'm just going to answer questions for like a while. T-Baby, do we all have capabilities to be mediums? Sometimes I see shadows run across me. Yeah, we all have an ability. I'm not a big sports guy. I'm a nerd, as you can see by my Ghostbuster thing here and all my other collections of nerdy crap. But I often use basketball as a reference point because I'm terrible at basketball, but I like to shoot hoops. Okay. So some people are the Kobe Bryant of basketball. Kobe Bryant's the Kobe Bryant of basketball, right? He practiced really hard, but he had an amazing ability and natural talent at that sort of thing, right? So that's the same thing for us. We all have the baseline ability, and some of it is higher or lower, but if you practice it, it will get stronger. It's just one of those things that you have to. Thank you for all the hearts. I appreciate you. It's one of those things that if you practice it, you can get better at it. It's just the level of where you want it to go. But that's not a gospel kind of thing. That's like maybe you're really good and your talent is really amazing and you're going to push it to the moon. It's all up to you how hard you try and what you practice and do. What have spirits said about all this pandemic stuff? Is it ever going to end? Unfortunately, they're pretty quiet about that stuff. And much like the spirit world, they don't talk too much about that stuff to me because I don't want to hear it. I don't care. We make our own way in this world, and it sucks that everything is the way it is right now. But if we all come together and we show some love and unity with each other, I think that we'll get through it a little bit better. Unfortunately, we just got to hope that our governing bodies wake up to that kind of stuff. It's very important. But I don't like to talk to them about that kind of stuff. My job is to talk to them personally, one-on-one, and get them to talk to you as best I can. Tanya says, my precious mama passed in 2019. I'm so sorry. I didn't get to tell her bye. She was gone before I got there. Well, Tanya, you can tell your mom goodbye anytime you like. I'm sure if you said it afterwards that she definitely could hear you. She most definitely hears us talking about it right now. It's an amazing thing. I've had so many spirits come and they'll tell me during a reading like, oh, tell my daughter thank you for holding my hand as I passed. Or tell them it's okay that they weren't there when I passed. I chose to do that. Or they'll have been asleep for a couple days before passing. And they'll say, tell them thank you for the lovely flowers. And I think a couple months ago, one was like, they showed me like a picture in my head of a stuffed armadillo. And it was really funny. And I said, well, they're showing me like a stuffed armadillo in a hospital. And the woman said, yeah, that my grandson brought it to my mom, or my my son brought it to my mom. There's this little stuffed armadillo that said like "get better soon" or something. So even though mom was asleep, effectively her soul was still there and watching, and she saw it. So she brought it up, and that's really important. So your mom can definitely hear you. So anytime any of you want to say goodbye to your lost loved ones, just say it. Tell them like, "I love you. I'm sorry that you're gone, and I miss you." And that's just a basic ability of a human being. It's amazing. Hi Oregon, how are you? Thank you for all the roses and stuff. I totally appreciate you. Does meditation help stress? Oh yes, it does. I find myself needing to meditate more and more as the holidays are getting closer and stress is getting higher. So meditate often and pick what you're going to do to meditate. Some people, I like to color in coloring books sometimes. I have 2 kids, so we have coloring books and tons of crayons. I find myself coloring often and just kind of letting my brain go and meditate and de-stress. And that helps get rid of that stress and, puts me back in like a more of a kid mindset, and things are going to be okay, and things are going to move forward, and things are going to be happy and good. And that's something that we all need to remember. The stress of the world sucks. There's sickness, there's poverty, there's anger, there's destruction. But on the other side of it, there's love for each other, there's happiness, there's strength, there's helping each other out when we're low. And that's what we all need to remember to do. I'm not like a motivational speaker or anything. I live in New Jersey. If you see me behind the wheel of a car, you're going to be like, this is not the same guy that I saw him live. This dude is driving angry. But that's just, a part of it, right? But for the most part, if my neighbor asks me for help, if I can help them, I help. If somebody asks me for a couple dollars and I can spare a couple dollars, I give it to them. And then I always expect the same. If I need help, somebody will come and help me. And we should do that for each other, strangers and friends and family alike. I think that's important. Let's see. Gross Honey. That's a nice name. Is it possible to dream about dead people? Yes. My mom has dreams about people after they die. Yep. They're called visitation dreams. They're really important. They're a natural ability. It's a natural gift of mediumship. Basically, when you're asleep, that's when spirits can talk to you the best, because all of the other big voice is quiet, so the little voice can talk, and that's where the spirits talk a lot of times in dreams. When I dream about my son, he never talks. I'm sorry about your son, by the way. First and foremost, perhaps he doesn't have anything quite yet to say, or maybe you're a little bit afraid of what he might have to say to you. So tell him, write a letter and say, I'd like for you to give me a message. And I surely bet that when you have a dream, he will give you a message, okay? So I hope that helps you. Kelmal says, how do I know if I'm ready? Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we jump into it. It's not something you want to force, but it is something that you want to be ready for. So ask yourself, am I ready? And someday you might wake up and be like motivated and be like, today's the day. I am ready. I'm going to do this. I'm going to jump into mediumship. And the jump might be slow because it's a gift that's ever developing. Mine changes time to time, and I have to roll the punches and understand what's happening in order to keep doing what I'm doing. So it's okay. I dream, but I want to see them. I want to see a spirit in front of me. Can I? So if any of you here watching live today ever want to look me up, look up Scotty the NJ medium. So there's a New Jersey in between the medium. If you look me up online, and you can see I'm very well rated. I've been around for a while, and I'm just saying that because it's very rare that I will see a physical spirit in front of me. It's a very rare occurrence. It's usually like a mental projection. Like this is something, one of my videos that went viral, I was talking about mental pictures and seeing things when somebody tells me a story. So if you were to tell me a story about your mom or your dad or something that happened in your life, I would have a very vivid imagination driven story about it while the words were coming from your mouth, right? So when I do mediumship, I close my eyes and I get quiet and I wait for the people on the other side to implant that story for me. And it's not scary or spooky. So sometimes people are looking for the Hollywood mediumship ability, and it's really not a physical mediumship ability that they have. It's one of the clairs. So clairvoyance is the ability to use your imagination to see the things that people are on the other side are giving to you. So, for instance, I talked about this yesterday, and here, I'll use a different one from yesterday in case you were here. So, I did a reading for a woman the other day, and her mom was talking to me, and she was talking to me about her sister, and her sister is still alive, and she said, she drew me a human body, and she said, talk about the nerves here. And the nerves were important because she was like, she was like, it's not Parkinson's, but it's like Parkinson's, and it's affecting her nervous system. So I saw little nerves all through the body that were shaking, and I was able to pass that information on. And the woman said, yeah, my sister keeps going for diagnosis, but the doctor's not sure what's happening. And mom has passed many years ago by now, and mom is clearly aware of what's happening. But the way she gave me that information was by drawing that in my imagination so I could see it, and then showed me a shaky hand. So I would talk about the nerve shaking. So that's one of those things that if you become more and more open to this gift, those sorts of things will be available to you. And that's just clairvoyance, because then there's clairaudience, which is being able to hear it, but that's more of a thought kind of thing that happens. Your inner monologue changes and the person talks to you. Clairsentience and clairessence is the ability to feel and know things. And that's more of your intuition. When you talk about like mom's intuition or human intuition, that's what we're talking about. And then there's another one that's fun. There's two more, but I can never pronounce them. There's the ability to smell things and taste things. So a couple months ago, a spirit came to me and she was stuffing my face. She was sticking pound cake in my mouth. And I said, I said to my client on the Zoom reading, I said, your sister just keeps shoving pound cake in my face. And the lady started cracking up, and she said, you couldn't go into her house without having a piece of pound cake. She always had it. So yeah, that makes sense that she would feed it to you right now. So that was really fun, and I could taste the pound cake. I could taste it right now just thinking about it. So the more open you are with your abilities, the more of these things can happen. I'm sorry, I got a little bit behind on the messages here. I see so many people messaging. I thank you so much. Again, if you like what you're hearing and you want to show TikTok that I'm okay, if you don't mind throwing some hearts, that would be great. This is a great question. It's a little bit on the more dark side, and we'll talk about that, sure. Girl Denny says, have you ever encountered a spirit that truly scared you? Yes and no. I don't let spirits scare me. I don't let anything scare me, because once you're scared, they got you. And what I mean by they got you, I mean that they can run you away, they can make you afraid, they can push you out of the space that you need to be in. So I am both a light worker and what they call a shadow worker. So I work with the light and the dark, hence my yin yang. I do both. The light side of it is spirit doing the readings, and the dark side of it, the shadow work, is dealing with ghosts. I do have a property that's not too far from my house that is truly has something deep and nasty in it. And it wasn't scary. I just know that it's something that I don't have the ability to do anything with. And if the family ever decides that they are going to try to have it removed, it is going to take a lot of spiritual power to get rid of it. But as of right now, it's just a big open field that they board horses in, and everything seems to be pretty safe. But it was basically, it would present itself to me as a big black dog with teeth and bristled hair, and it would say nasty things like it told me about killing animals, and it told me about mocking my religion and all this stuff. So I know it's nasty. I don't use the D word. If you've been following me for a little while, you know that I don't really like the D word, demons and stuff like that. It gives things too much power. So we talk about them as just low level entities, and this one doesn't seem to reach out and bother anybody unless somebody goes and pokes it. So we leave it alone. But yeah, that's the one time I was ever like, this one's a little dark, we're not going to mess with it. Oh, I like this. Ruby Moon says, do you ever get days where you're in such an intense mood it affects the electricity around you? What's funny is, no. First, I don't think I've ever affected this. I've heard people say I affected street lights and the lights flicker around me. But I am more of a, whatever mood I'm in, other people tend to be in. So if I'm in a good mood, you will tend to be in a good mood. If I'm grumpy, you're going to feel grumpy too. So I'm a hype man like that for your feelings. But I'm also an amplifier for mediumship and psychic ability. So if I'm around another gifted person, I tend to act as a battery for that person, and they become more psychic in tune. So they get boosted up. And the more we have conversations about what's happening around us, the more it boosts their ability. It's just one of those very interesting things. But that's a great question. Thank you. I would never thought to talk about that. good and bad are human constructs. Yes, it's all about the perception, and I talk about that a lot here as well. Why do I feel somebody in bed with me and nobody is there? Well, perhaps you have a spirit hanging out with you, but before that, I would say, have you been to the doctor and gotten yourself checked out? And I'm not trying to be a jerk, but when I go to paranormal investigations for my clients, it's one of the first things that I ask people. Oh, thanks for the glasses. It's one of the first things that I ask people. How's your mental health? What's going on in the home? Is there any family mental issues that we should talk about, that you're willing to talk to me about? And how's your physical health? And if they say that all that stuff is good and they run me through it and they're honest, then we can move on to the paranormal part of it, in which case that's where I come in and really take a look. But my team has people who are capable of electrical work, carpenters. I have people on call that are law enforcement and social workers. So the paranormal team is actually just a bunch of regular people who have really interesting niches in their regular jobs, but then they also can do the other things to help us help people like you when you say you got somebody crawling into bed. Maybe there is somebody there that you need removed as a spirit, or maybe there's something going on with you and we can help you, and you won't feel that anymore. So that's just as important. Hi, Scott. Hi, Sherry. Thanks for the sunglasses again. Can I talk about out-of-body experiences? Sure. I will always talk about this. I think this is something to do with my ADHD. I always talk about things as anecdotes. So I did an investigation in Long Island, and this young man said that, here, we'll start with this. This is interesting. So I got to the house. It's a big old house, and I saw a man in tall black boots. He was very thin, and he looked like he rode horses, like an equestrian. And he was a very tall, thin man. And I described him when I got there. Then later on, the young man who brought me into the investigation to check the house out said that he was freaked out when I described that man, because one time he was asleep in the house, the young man, and he woke up and floated out of his body and through the room, and that man that I described to him was in the room with him and actually pushed him back into his body and said he wasn't allowed to leave it like that, and pushed him back in. Look, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. Oh, that's so scary, right? So that's what I could talk about with out-of-body experiences. I really have not had one myself. Not like that anyway. Yeah, Gross Sonny says, when I was investigating homes, mental health and medication were normally the number one reason for those things. Yes, totally agree. I'm invited to visit my old church I live in. Well, if it's somewhere in driving distance of New Jersey, I'd be happy to. So yeah, if you have questions, I'm Scott, by the way, if you're joining for the first time, Scotty the Medium. I've been around for a little while. I've been growing here on TikTok pretty well, and I appreciate all of you for the likes and follows. It totally makes my day when I turn on my TikTok and I have a bunch of notifications at the bottom. That's awesome. It means that finally I found a group of people that I really resonate with. If you ever see me on here being a little bit upset or angry, I'm not upset or angry with you. One of the things that people have to understand is when you're interacting with somebody that's a stranger that has a different point of view than you, and this goes for me as well, is that one, you don't know who you're talking to, you don't know what their life experience is, and you don't know where they're coming from most of the time. So you have to get a better total picture of who they are. So for me, myself, I am a dad. I am a husband. I have a 21-year-old daughter who's a United States Marine. I am a former Marine and combat veteran. I've been involved in my career now for 13 years, doing other things, and I'm also a psychic medium and a paranormal investigator. I have some time doing television, and there's more of that coming up. So all of those are more of a total idea of who I am. I believe in doing the right thing when possible, as much as possible. So when people come at me and they throw their beliefs at me out of nowhere and they say negative things, I come back with a little bit of fire, but they don't realize that they're not really insulting me or hurting my feelings, because I've been shot at and blown up. So you're not hurting my feelings. I'm pretty freaking tough. But it's just one of those things, like, I think it's important that we all think about that when we're talking and interacting with each other online. Like, you don't know somebody else's story, so be compassionate, be loving, say nice things. And if you don't have something nice to say, what's the old adage? If you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything. And I find myself doing that often. Like, I don't have anything good to say about this. I'm just going to keep moving. Oh, hearts for you too. Thanks. Thanks for coming and stopping by. Everybody, thanks. I was only mentioning that because I really like people to know, like, I'm not somebody who, as Joe Rogan would call woo woo. I'm not that guy. Like, I have some crystals hanging out here, but they're not my life. I do sage, not my life. My life is the total circumstance of how I live life. I'm also really into cars, collecting action figures. Obviously, Ghostbusters. Like, that's a more total version of who I am. And online, it's hard to depict that, especially here on TikTok, where they kind of put you, like, you pick something that you're into, and that's what you do. Thank everybody who's saying that they served. I want to say a big thank you to you too, especially. I appreciate those who are serving and who have served. Thank you. Burger Bitch 71. I like your name, by the way. First medium I've seen so far with the head on straight. So that's one of the things I've built my platform off from day one. I want people to know that I am very down to earth. I want to always come up with a very good reason for the things that happen. And as a matter of fact, when I started having all this mediumship start happening to me, I actually tried to disprove myself. And by trying to disprove myself, I only found that it was impossible to, because I was saying things that were impossible for me to know about. One of the first instances that I had, that I was like, wow, this is an incredible thing. And I didn't realize how strong my ability was, until somebody sent a photograph to my partner, Patrick, who I was on a paranormal team with. He's not my life partner. He's my paranormal partner. He sent me a photograph, and all it was two folks standing over a headstone. And he said, can you tell me anything about this photo? I'm not going to tell you anything. And I was like, yeah, I can. I felt like somebody, there was two deaths that I felt. One of somebody who was in a motorcycle accident, and it was a male who passed away very young. I remember 25 to 30 years old, Hispanic male. And then a second one, which was a black male, and he was shot to death. Also very young, 25 to 30 years old. And he was shot to death in his abdomen. So I wrote the details of the reading down, I sent it back to Patrick, and then he sent it to the people who sent them the photo. And they were like, well, we weren't actually expecting you to, we just wanted to know about the orbs in the photograph. But actually the person whose headstone we're standing over is our cousin, and he did pass away on a motorcycle accident. And the guy next to him is also our cousin, and he was shot to death. So they were just asking about the orbs in the photograph, but I did a psychic reading, and I came up with the two deaths of the people they were standing with. And the reason that sort of thing, I think, happened was it helped those folks understand that their loved ones were there with them. Their cousins were there, and they were happy that they were being visited. So whether the orbs were paranormal or not, I don't know. But what I do know is that those two spirits were there with them, and I was able to connect with them and show them some love. So that's really super important for me. And I like to tell these stories and these anecdotes because they're the only evidence that I have of something happening and proving that I'm not crazy. And I also tell people I have been, for my profession, I have been through 3 evaluations for mental health because it's part of the job, and pass every time. Again, being a combat veteran, I've also been checked out by the VA, and the best they can tell me is that I got ADHD for real, and I've had it my whole life, and I just got diagnosed with it at 39 years old, so that's fun. Sherry 102. So if you want to know about your cousin being with you, I'll tell you that yes, for sure. I'm not talking to him right now because I'm not tuned in to do readings, but from my experience, yes. Our loved ones who we miss and love so much are with us so often. I think it's much like they come and visit us and stay with us as much as we need, and then they go back and they come back and forth and they visit with us. So I see a lot of people talking about ADHD. So that's a big hot button subject here on TikTok. It's very interesting. One of the things that I have correlated is I've been able to commune with ghosts my whole life, and I've had ADHD my whole life, right? So I think they're connected. Our brains are wired a little bit differently. We seem to be very sensitive to people's emotions and the things that are going on. Matt 7001 says, when and how did your psychic abilities happen? So when I was young, like a little kid, I know that I would talk to people who other people couldn't see. They chalked it up like everybody to imaginary friends. When I was about 31 years old, so almost 10 years ago, I was taking a shower, and this spirit came to me, and I didn't know it was a spirit, it was just a voice in my head, and I literally thought I was going crazy. I'll say it again. I thought I was going crazy. And this guy was like, my name's Pop. I need you to talk to my daughter, and here's a list of things to talk about. And I wrote those things down, and the woman he wanted me to talk to was my mom's friend, Vicky, and it was her dad who passed. I'd never met him before, but he had this message he wanted to get to his daughter. And somehow he figured out that I could do this, even though it was not something I'd ever actually done like that before. It was things I'd only seen other mediums do on TV, and I didn't even have a word for it because it was my first encounter. The thing that really blew me away and pushed me into pursuing it was something that he showed me in my imagination, in my third eye. He showed me a picture of a man in a tuxedo, and next to him was a woman in a pink dress with white pearls and brown hair. She was wearing pearls, and I could smell cake. So I wrote this down, and I contacted his daughter, and she was willing to listen to me, and I told her about the photograph. And she said, hold on, I'm going to get my mom. And mom is her dad's wife. And she describes the photograph, and mom comes to the house. She opens up a photo book, a wedding album that looked like it had not been opened in many years. She opens it up, and there's a man in a tuxedo and a woman in a pink dress with white pearls and short brown hair. And I also had a name written down in my book, and the name was Anne. And I wrote that she liked to bake. And sure enough, that was Pop's mom that he was showing me. Her name was Anne. And that was a picture that was taken on their wedding day. So that was really fantastic to me because, one, I wasn't trying to do mediumship. It just came spontaneously. Two, there was photographic proof of exactly what I wrote down. There was an actual photograph that matched that in a home I could have never visited, of a picture I would have never seen in a million years. So there had to be something. So from that moment on, I started finding people that were willing to listen to me. And I was like, let me just sit with you and see what comes out of my mouth when I do that. And I tapped into that same spot in my brain, that part of my imagination, and I would just let it roll. And it was crazy, the amount of things that were so accurate. And it just went from there. I love sharing that story because, again, it helps other people understand, not all of us who are doing this. One of the things that people are like, oh, you're fake, you're full of shit, mediums aren't real. Like, look, I know, I've been trying to disprove it, but every time I say something wild, it gets my hopes up that this is a real thing and I'm doing the right thing. Even to the point I shared yesterday, a reading I did where a woman's mom came to me and she said two really funny things. She said, tell my daughter that I love her hair and talk about the birdhouses that are outside her kitchen window. So I drew the birdhouse. And I said to my client, I said, your mom says she really likes your hair, but it's like a joke or something. It seems like an inside joke. And the lady said, yeah, my mom and I both have the same, my mom, when she was alive, had the same autoimmune disease that I do, and we both lost our hair. This is a wig. So she's laughing and she's like letting me know like that she likes my wig. And I was like, oh, that's amazing. And then I was like, well, what about the birdhouses? She said, look out your kitchen window and look at the birdhouses. And she was like, yeah, I have about 4 or 5 birdhouses outside my kitchen window. I look at them at the kitchen table where I used to sit with my mom all the time, and I think about her. So that was her mom's way of saying, when you're looking at those birdhouses and you're thinking about me, I'm there with you and I'm connecting with you as well. So that was really super important. And those are those kinds of things. So I thought that was a really great kind of connection. So when those sorts of things come through to me, it makes me want to pursue it. So I go from reading to reading. Someday I might be so off and it'll be so terrible and I'll be like, well, that's it, no more. And then I'll just move on with my life. But I hope that never happens because I so enjoy doing this. It's such an amazing thing. La Magnifica 11 says, any advice to someone trying to tap into our psychic abilities? Yeah. Meditate and trust your intuition. So when you meditate and you think about your loved ones who have passed, just trust that the messages that are coming from them are real. Find a friend or a family member that has somebody that passed and ask if you're allowed to connect with them, and just close your eyes, take a deep breath, think a little bit about that person and see what comes through. So like right now, as I'm doing this, maybe this is for somebody here, I have my eyes closed and there's somebody talking to me, and they have a disc polisher for like a car, and I want to say like it's a man, and I feel like he probably spent his life buffing cars. Maybe he was a car painter or a car detailer. And he's like mentioning his fingers, so I don't know if he had something wrong with his hand. So if somebody knows what that is, let me know. Medium Soul Searcher says, do you believe all mediums are psychics and vice versa? No. I think all mediums are psychics, but I don't think all psychics are mediums. I think that they don't always go hand in hand. And I am a much stronger medium than I am a psychic. But I do have a tendency to have really interesting psychic insight into things. So that's the best I could say, but that's not gospel. That's just my opinion. It's just what I think or feel or my experience. So it could change from person to person. Marble X. I think my pop coming through, he did cultured marble and fiberglass. So that's really awesome. So he would have used a polisher a lot, right? And like been polishing all this stuff in fiberglass too. So maybe that's him. And I saw you say something. You felt strong about your pop, right? Up at top, and that's what they called him. And I started telling the story about a guy named Pop. So I'll just let you know. I think that's probably him. So when I do this, it's very important. This is why I don't do live readings like this, because I don't ever want to give somebody's story to another person, right? I'd be upset if I was a spirit and I was trying to get through, and I was like, this is me. And the medium gave my story to somebody else. It needs to be validated. It needs to be gone through. And it's why I have a long wait list, because I bring as much to the table as I possibly can. I only do one reading a day, and I usually only do about 4 a week. There is a way for you to schedule. If anybody's interested with that, you can go into my link in the bio, and you can schedule a reading with me. That way, I just put that up. It's under the one-on-one consult. And also I have a mediumship class coming up. If you're interested, anybody out there wants to develop their abilities, it's next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're interested in that, you can check that out. It's a 2-hour class. It's only $40. Yeah, spirit is always trying to come through, especially when I start talking about them, for sure. Kirana says, was told my son is a beacon for spirit. Yeah, that's true. I'm sure if somebody said that, it could be very true. I was as a kid, and look at here I am now. Oh, your cousin Tori went to me. Oh, I know Tori. I think they were thinking about the same person. Grandma came through and kept showing me Fig Newtons. And I kept saying, why is Grandma showing me Fig Newtons? And nobody could figure it out. Then a couple days later, they were like, oh, Grandma's favorite dance was the Fig Newton dance. And I was like, well, I don't know what that is. So that's why she showed me Fig Newtons. But that was her. That was Grandma. Yep. That was a really, really fun reading too, because I was like, oh my God, today's the day. I'm done. Nobody knows what I'm talking about. And then a couple days later, they contacted me and they were like, Fig Newtons. Yes, we got it. Do I have any books? I don't, but I do have a website. It's Scotty, thenjmedium.com. And I have a blog. It's all free. Scotty, thenjmedium.com. Go there, read all my blogs. They're all free. All kinds of cool advice for a couple years now about how to develop your abilities. Do I believe in dreams having meanings? Yes, always. Well, not always. Sometimes they're just strange. But yeah, for the most part, dreams have meanings, in my opinion. What they mean all the time, I'm not sure. Sometimes we find out in hindsight, but it's a part of that psychic ability. And if you keep a dream journal, you might learn the pattern that's coming through to you when dreams are happening. So for instance, the other day I had a dream about the road splitting, and I take that as something that means that I have a course to have to pick and a side that I'm going to have to pick pretty soon of what I'm going to do. And I know that to be true. And am I willing to drive over the turbulence to get where I want to go? And the answer is always, hell yeah. That's who I am. I like a little turbulence. Medium Soul Searcher says, what about gifts being passed down through generations? This is a great question. So many times people ask me, like, do gifts travel in families? Yeah, and it's usually No offense, gents, but it's usually for females. I think I'm one of the rare, and listen, no offense to anybody, but I'm like one of the rare straight men that have this ability. It's an interesting thing. Most of the mediums that I meet are females or men who are gay, right? I think that you would find that most times. Maybe not always, but a lot of times. So yeah, it travels through. But you know what else travels through families? ADHD. So I think that they're linked somewhere. And then a friend of mine, another creator here, Swamp Witch, she was talking about addiction and psychic abilities. Yes, also travel through families, right? So there's a lot of genetic stuff going on. And I think someday they'll probably do a sequence on, maybe they'll like test like 100 people who say they're psychic or mediums, and they'll go through and find some kind of like little tiny genome in there. And they're like, look, all these people have the same thing. So we'll see. Kirona says, I am also ADHD. Could I be a medium? You could. You could be a deep empath, psychic, a healer, a Reiki healer. You could be any of these things. Actually, you could be anything you want, really, as long as you put your mind to it. One of the things that, one of the reasons that I'm offering this course that I'm just kind of pitching here a little bit time to time, my class that's $40 this Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, is because I want to give people the ability to talk to me face to face instead of in messages. And you can ask me all these questions and get my opinion about everything. And I'll explain to you the 5 Clair abilities, empaths, the ability to discern what is your own thoughts and feelings versus what's coming in from the outside world. Oh, I saw a good one. Oh, the mom who wears all black. What's up? My ears randomly ring. Is that a sign? Yeah, that's usually a sign of clairaudience. So the right side ringing is what I call the spirit ear. That's usually the good stuff. As long as you haven't been exposed to loud explosions, gunfire, any of that kind of stuff, or loud machinery running all the time, so you don't have tinnitus, right? That ring, natural ring in your ear. When you get it, and it's like, if you can learn to stop yourself, take a breath, and relax a little bit and hear what your thoughts are in that moment, you might be surprised how many people are just on the other side trying to get your attention. So that's a good practice to do. If your ears just randomly ring, do that. See what happens. And trust it when it comes through, because that's the part that's the tough part for so many. They're like, yeah, well, I thought about X, Y, and Z, but I didn't really think it was anything. And then 2 days later, what I thought about actually happened. So excuse me. So if you had written it down or said something, you would have had proof about it. So just write it down. That's great. So if you guys are, ladies and gents and everybody else, if you're liking my content, if you wouldn't mind, throw me a follow and some hearts. Let TikTok know that I'm doing a good job and that you like what I'm doing. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Yes, trust what you get and write it down. Could one be a sensitive and take meds or drink alcohol? So I do imbibe a little bit of Jack Daniels from time to time, and I am just as sensitive as I ever am. Medication, I was taking Adderall, and that completely shut off everything. Another reason why I thought ADHD and mediumship might be connected. Without the Adderall, organizing my life is difficult, but mediumship is easy. When I take the Adderall, organizing my life is a piece of cake, but mediumship becomes nearly impossible. It becomes gone pretty much. So that's one of those things. I'm not a doctor, so I don't recommend that you just stop taking medication for any reason, because I don't know your medical history or what your deal is. Again, I've been tested. I don't have schizophrenia. I'm not depressed. I don't have any kind of bipolar. There's nothing else going on with me. I just have ADHD and a touch of PTSD from my time in the military. But other than that, I'm good. No hearing voices or any weird shit like that. Well, voices, but not like, let's put it this way. This is something really important to tell people. Spirit will never say anything bad or negative to try to hurt you. And that's really important to know. And my daughter, who definitely has ADHD, has just walked in because she had to know what we were doing down here. So she came down to say hello. So I think I'm an empath, but I'm not 100% sure, but I can read a room. So yeah, if you can read a room well, you're probably a very good empath. It's really important. And when you connect with somebody in person, that might make you a little bit stronger as well as an empath. So practice on people, shake their hand and say, how are you feeling today? What are you doing? And see if you get it right. So you don't think people with schizophrenia aren't gifted? Nope, didn't say that. I just said I'm not. I don't have that. They could be very well gifted. There's a young man on TikTok who, Xander something, he has schizophrenia, and he is wonderful. He's a great artist. He's very open with all the things, and he explains what schizophrenia is from his point of view, where he sees faces on things and hears voices of like inanimate objects talking and stuff like that. So that's very interesting to me. I don't have that. So for instance, and I'm not trying to be silly, if I'm looking at my can here, it's not going to talk to me. I'm not going to see a face here, and it's not going to talk to me. My TV doesn't tell me what to do or anything like that, right? So there's schizophrenia, there's bipolar, there's all kinds of things. I'm not a doctor, so these are only things that I know about because I've researched into them to see what matched me, and so I could have a discussion with my own health caregiver. I see somebody just said something about being ghosted. So where'd you go, Twisted Paranormal? I didn't see any of your comments. What do you got, Twisted Paranormal? What's your question?
Hello.
Oh, say hi. This is Alexis, everybody. This is my little baby. She looks just like me, and she has some very interesting insights from time to time. She actually scares me every once in a while. Can being an empath cause social anxiety? Yes, 110%. A lot of times when I go to big events, I become, unless I'm the one in charge of the event or I'm going to be up and talking to people, I become very socially shut down because it makes me feel upset. Their ghost. The TikTok is rude. Yeah, the class is a 2-hour class. It's $40. There's only 20 spots. It's done via Zoom. 7 p.m. on Tuesday. And if you want to have face-to-face and ask me any questions, especially if you're a paranormal investigator, that is something I also do. So I have a lot of insight in that as well. Thanks for asking. Sorry if you're getting ghosted, buddy. I didn't mean for that to happen. Nebraska Paranormal, what's up? I just started following your page, man. You guys are crazy. You have some really awesome evidence. I hope someday I get to come out to Nebraska and check things out. Carol Lee 218. I'm very sorry to hear about your sister. My heart goes out to her, especially if she was violently taken away from us. I'm very sorry for that. Unfortunately, I don't do really live readings like this, so something like that is a very personal question that I would want to really connect with you. And that's not just because, it's not about money. It's about having a personal connection with you and making sure that you got the validation that you needed. Because everybody's family member is very important to them. And it's important to me that we have a very solid and good connection in order to make sure that their message comes through the proper way. Thanks for the sunglasses, whoever sent them, and the butterflies. See this person right here? We'll just do like this. Block. Confirm. This man is a con artist. All mediums have been debunked. You are a turd, and now you're blocked. See what happens? You want to be a jerk? We just block you. It's so easy to do. So anyways, my name is Scott. I'm just hanging out with you for a little bit. I was answering questions about mediumship and spirits. And if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to help you, but I'm not doing any readings. I don't do that live, unless something spontaneous comes through. So what else is going on out there in the world? What kind of questions do you have for me? Hi, Lex. Whenever she sees the camera, she has to jump in front of it. She's just like her dad. Can I recommend a book of teachings? Boy, I can. I have a series here on TikTok. If you go through, you can find them, but I can't think of any off the top of my head. All my books are in the next room. Does alcohol drown out your gifts? Yes. Some people, it makes it worse. For me, it makes it go away. Mimi says, my mom passed in August. I'm very sorry for the passing of your mom. And you haven't gotten anything. So August. So we're in December. So very soon she should be able to talk to you. I was saying in the beginning of the podcast, 3 months is usually about when it takes for them to be able to come back and talk to us. Are bad or evil spirits able to communicate whenever they wish? No, it's up to me. If somebody who's negative or something negative is going to talk to me, I recognize them as being negative and I'm able to tell them to go away. And if you don't want to hear from whoever it is, we can tell them to go away. I had a woman a couple years ago, her dad appeared to me and he was a black, disgusting mass. And I knew he was a human spirit, but I knew he was also like a POS. And I said, do you want to talk to your dad? And she said, no, I hate him. And I said, okay. And he was gone. That was it. We didn't have to talk to him. So that was that. Thanks everybody who's following me. I totally appreciate you. I'm really happy that we had this time to hang out here. Oh, I love this one. Tobeans. I like your name first off. I like that. I see you have a cat. My mom passed 2 weeks after my baby was born. He smiles at nothing. Could it be her? Yeah, absolutely. Babies are very intuitive and they just came from that side, right? So they're not afraid to see what's out there. So yeah, I'm absolutely sure that if your mom visits that your baby can say hello. My daughter's doing the scene lighting now. Thanks, Jesse. I appreciate you. Thanks for liking my stuff. Thank God it's Friday, right? I have work all weekend, though, unfortunately. Hey, could you stop messing with that, please? I appreciate you. Thank you. Do I ever do specials? I do, so follow. Follow me and watch. I do specials that cut it down quite a bit. Sorry if it's too much. If you want, you can send me an email. Maybe I can work with you because I do want to help if I can. So my email is scottynjmedium@gmail.com. It's on my feed as well. You can just send me an email and be like, hey, I can't afford that. Can we do something? And yes, I will absolutely help you because my prices are not set in stone. It's more important that I help you than get paid, believe me. Mediumship can't be charged. Actually, you know what? You're right. So I don't charge for my mediumship. I charge for my time, which is really important for people to understand. I have a full-time career where I do very well, and I do mediumship as a side thing. So I do this as a choice, and you're not getting charged for my gift. You're getting charged for my time. Because, again, I have 2 children that live here at home. They're young and right there, so I'm a dad. I'm a husband. I'm a guy who has a lot of things to do, so my time is very valuable. So that's what you're getting charged for. And there has to be an exchange when there's an energy exchange. Otherwise, I would just be able to sit here in front of this camera all day long and do readings. If I was a multimillionaire, I would. You can ask my wife. She'd be pissed off at me. You're welcome, anybody. It's important, and that was something that was explained to me because quite honestly, I felt dirty charging for it because I was like, it's just something that I can do. I feel bad. And basically the person who explained it to me was just like, well, nobody does anything for free. You have an extraordinary gift. So if you don't want to charge for your gift, charge for your time. And what's that worth to you? So that was something else that I was able to come to terms with. And that being said, I will negotiate on my time and my price because I do want to do this and I don't want to tell people no just because they don't have the ability to afford what I'm asking. So I will work on that. Okay? So thank you. I try to, yeah. And I'm not like the only reason I have a business is because I do this. Otherwise I would just do my regular job. And that would be that. Yeah, so thanks. I mean, Adele can just sing. It's just something she can do. She charges for that gift. Yeah, she does. A lot of money, right? Hi, Texas. How are you? Hi from New Jersey. Nice to see you there. So again, if anybody here is interested in learning about their own mediumship abilities or gifts, psychic abilities, reading tarot cards, that kind of stuff, hang out with me here on TikTok, and you can also follow the link in my bio, because I have a class coming up on Tuesday, and then I have a tarot reader course that is offered through somebody else that is on my team that is a fantastic tarot card reader. I'm feeling like you can see my questions. I can. I see you there, Betsy Clarice. Thank you, Mimi. I appreciate you. What's up, John, the paranormal guy? How are you, buddy? His page is blown up. He's a great paranormal investigator. You should follow him if you like paranormal. Fiona, I see you say was my mom's mistreatment the cause of her death. I would have to connect to your mom, and then I would have to come up with evidence of that to be able to say that. So, again, anytime I do readings, it's very personal and connected to the person I'm talking to. And it's really important that it stays that way. So I really don't do too many live readings unless something spontaneously comes across, which isn't too often. Just like earlier when the gentleman with the work in the polisher came through. Pretty spontaneous, but I had said the name he was called by a couple times, so it makes sense that he stopped in. We're having a pretty good day here. I'm having a good day anyway. A lot of people hanging out with me today, which I totally appreciate. And you're about to hit the road. John, throw me a DM. We'll set something up so you can we can do one of these lives and let people know what you're up to and get some more followers over to your page. Hey, what's up, California? That's where my daughter is right now. She's at 29 Palms at the Marine Corps base there. So, Gina says, do you believe evil spirits can attach to you? Yes and no. First, I have to say I don't let anything have power over me, so no. But people who don't have the same constitution who would give something like that the ability to have power over them, yes. But I think it's more of the thought of it happening causes it to happen, if that makes any sense. So if you go into a place that you know is haunted and you're like, oh geez, something's going to attach to me here, then yeah, I mean, you're giving it like almost permission, so of course. But no, for the most part, I don't think that is something that could happen. It does happen. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. It does happen, but for the most part, not really. Hi, Lyrica Beans. I apologize if you went to my snip feed and asked for a reading there and didn't get it. It was refunded because the amount of people that asked for those kind of readings, I wasn't able to fulfill all the orders. And again, I really sit down right here and I really connect. So, again, I can't do as many as I'd like. I apologize. If you want to try again, there's not as many in the queue right now. Please feel free to do that. And I will try my best to get to you. I apologize if I couldn't. But thank you so much for asking me to do it. I appreciate you either way. I'm sorry, again, that I couldn't get to you yet. Yeah, Ghostbusters has been my favorite since 1984. It's my favorite. Jess says, what do I do for a living? I really can't. I can say, let's just say that I was on a TV show called Paranormal 911, Season 1, Episode 10. So if you have Discovery Plus or Amazon, you can go check that out. Paranormal 911, the TV show. Season 1, Episode 10. Lex, you gotta stay inside, hon. It's too cold out there. I gotta get her before she goes outside. All of her Christmas presents are out there. You can't go out there, hon. It's too cold.
I just want to sit in the back room.
You can't sit in the back room. It's too cold.
Why?
It's not heated.
Why?
So anyways, yeah, if you want to see what I do for a living, you can go there. But we have a pretty strict social media policy about talking about that kind of stuff. So, I see Indigo says, I love that show. So if you've watched that show from the beginning, you've definitely seen my smiling face. I seen it. I knew you. Yep, that's me. My daughter's a medium. She's 15. Tell her to just use her ability for the right things, and she'll do great. And by the right things, I mean just to help people and to spread the love when she can. Thanks for the follow. I appreciate that. Oh, you know a couple people from that show. Yeah, it was funny when I got onto that show. I met a lot of other people, obviously, who do that, who are paranormal investigators and also into the same thing I am. So that was interesting. Again, that's Paranormal 911, Season 1, Episode 10. It's the first story of that episode. It's on Discovery Plus, and I think also Amazon has it available as well. Oh, I'm sorry to hear about your friend that was a medium, Libra girl. I'm sure she's okay. Am I aware of somebody trying to impersonate me? Yes, there's about 15 clone accounts trying to impersonate me through Instagram and here on TikTok. It's terrible. Hopefully someday I'll be able to get a little blue check mark next to my name up there, and that'll stop happening. But I got to keep moving in the right direction. Just know I'll never, ever, ever ask you for money to do a reading. The only way that readings are initiated is if you send me a message and it goes that way. I know Steve Shippey, and I like watching his show on Amazon. Yes. It's like The Haunting of, or whatever, right? He has really great, like, hour and a half episodes. They're really good. I just watched one a couple weeks ago, Saginaw, which was really great. Hi there. So I got to pick up Tommy soon? Yeah. Okay. All right, folks. As much as I love hanging out with you, it's almost time for me to go pick my son up from school. Once again, I'd just like to say thank you to everybody who's been asking me so many amazing questions. I hope that I helped you a little bit today. If you want more one-on-one interaction with me, please do me a favor and head up to my Snip feed link in bio and sign up for the class. It's next Tuesday, December 7th at 7 p.m. It's only $40, and it only has 20 spots available. I think there might be 10 left. So if you want some one-on-one time with me, please do that. It's all done via Zoom, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate you. There's going to be a lot more live, so make sure you click the little notification button, and we'll do this more and more often, and I'll share as much as I can. I want everybody to have a great day, great weekend, and I'll see you soon. Thanks, everybody. Thank you.